Namaste and welcome. Today in our program Yoga for Unity and Well-Being, let's look at Yogasana as a sport. We'll be listening to Udit Sheth in a very exclusive interview. He is currently the director of TransStadia that builds stadiums in India of extraordinary proportions. He is from the world of sports but at a whole different level. Today he is also the Vice President of the International Yogasana Sport Federation. Let's listen to him explain to us how Yogasana can become not only a sport in its own right, but find its place in the sports ecosystem in a very prominent way. Let's join him and listen to him. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Nice to have you with us in our Yoga for Unity and Wellbeing program. Today, we have with us Mr. Udit Sheth, and we are so happy to have him. He's got a ton of things to share with us. We have a lot of questions for him. We do hope we can cover everything. If not, we promise we'll have him back for you one of these days. So, Udit ji, namaste, welcome. Glad to have you here.
Namaste.
Lovely. Our first question to you, as Vice President of the International Yogasana Sports Federation, no doubt you are going to tell us just what is all this about Yogasana being a sport. Can you just give us a quick idea of how that is possible?
It's a great question, first of all. And before I get into it, thank you so much for the opportunity to be there on this live chat with you. I think it's time for Yogasana to be introduced to the world. I think for a long time, yoga has been practiced globally. And yoga has different dimensions from meditation to asanas and much more in terms of the way you live your life. But it can't be captured under sport because sport is a totally different field, and it's about competitiveness. It's about doing better than yourself and your peers. And therefore you can't really put a cloud into a bucket. Yoga is like a cloud. And therefore, for me, the asana part of yoga had to be culled out. And that's what the entire federation has done with the gurus of yoga. And they have agreed that yogasana should be part of competitive sport. And therefore, we've now, deep dived into it. We've identified the asanas, the curriculum, how to train the athletes, how to train youngsters, and change the mindset from going to an ashram to an academy. So the entire portfolio of yogasana changes into sport, right? It goes into nutrition, it goes into physical well-being, it goes into mental well-being. So there is a lot to offer in the sports portfolio. And also, I think India has been on the forefront of yoga and yogasana when it was combined, and also now that it's not combined. And I think that through yogasana, we can spread the good word of yoga, the way that you can live your life better. And the entire sport is about sustainability. It's about doing better than yourself, finding that balance within you. And I think that by putting together a competitive kind of a calendar of events where people can showcase themselves. I mean, I've seen the athletes that we have done through the talent hunts that we have done, and they are extremely fit. They are extremely good looking as well, and I think all of them have a great career opportunity globally. And I think the same opportunity we can lend to the global community under this. So we are getting rid of all the different aspects of yoga and just concentrating on the asana field.
All right. That sounds very exciting to see how this will happen. How is this? I mean, how is Yogasana as a sports fitting in or going to fit in into the general sports ecosystem that we have currently?
I think it's going to be a very clean fit, in my opinion. Why? Because we need to have academies, we need to have coaches, we need to have curriculum, we need to have a competition calendar from the Khelo India games all the way to university games. going up to international competitions. And I think there is a very good chance that after about 8 or 10 years, we can see Yogasana being putting their hat into the ring for a place in the Olympics. But there's a lot of work to be done. We need to set up a lot of things so that people understand and appreciate the way that we are developing the sport. It has to be translated into languages globally. It has to be, the coaches have to be developed not only in India, but also out of India, so that we have a pool of countries which can participate in this exciting ecosystem. I mean, I don't know if you've seen America's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent or Indian Idol, and some of those feats that the contortionists do, it's amazing. It's just amazing, and the backbone of all of that is Yogasana. So I think the mindset that we have is very, very tall. However, we need to take small steps today, get the basics right, get the coaching right, and then we can dream bigger.
Okay, that's something that makes me feel is like you're going to have to do a lot of talent hunt here, right? Because by the time people realize that this is going to be declared as a sport, and here you and the committee and the federation organizing, I would say, national competitions and then international competitions, getting countries to be involved. So my question to you is, how are you going to organize this talent, and how are you going to get this across to the youth of India and other nations to tell them that this is going to happen? Any events planned? Any ideas there?
So we're launching a international and a national talent hunt very soon. And the joy of yoga and yogasana is that you can do it in a 6x6 area, and therefore the talent hunt can be done online. We can spread the word very easily through the digital democracies that we have in India and globally. And I think a lot of people will participate as well. Our focus is not about getting participation. I think the talent is there. And the minute I put the word out, I think we are going to have a rush of entries. And I won't be surprised if we have about 100,000 entries to start with. And that's a lot of things to siphon through. I think that the main thing the federation and our judges and our media people will look out for is how they present themselves. We really need to progress from the ashram to the academy into the sporting ecosystem. The kind of presentation that they have, the way they express themselves, they groom themselves, their expressions on their face, the attire, the music choice, all of that will be a very important part of the talent hunt. And therefore, 50% is the athlete and the tradition, but 50% is everything else as well. So I think it is going to be a good challenge, but I've seen a lot of videos online. I think that the potential is immense.
Whoa. So we are looking at something that is really going to be, how would I put it? Something that we can watch on television and actually follow, get interested in, like we do with gymnastics or we do with any other sport. That brings me to some thinking on what is the economics of this whole system that you're creating, right?
So everything is with economics at the backbone of it, because in sport we always think of the athlete first, and it has to be the athlete first. If they have a potential to make money, to inspire others, if they can have this as a livelihood, and today, a lot of the yogasana athletes actually pay fees to participate. Instead of them paying fees, we want to give them something back in terms of remuneration or prize money or something. So the economics of yoga are to be reversed to start with, and yogasana can do that. Media plays a very important role in the entire economics. I think we need to do so many things. We need to create stories on every athlete. We need to talk about their background. We need to groom them. We have to have offline talent shows and online talent shows. We need to curate them for television, do a face off on TV, like a dance off or a sing off or whatever it is. And I think that will actually create hype. we don't want to package yogasana for the people in the yoga community. We want to package yogasana for the people who are not into yoga and yogasana. And therefore, and that is going to be building the TRP that we are looking at. So I have to educate a common man or a rickshaw driver or a business executive that this is a sport which is exciting to watch on television. We need to engage people. We need to educate them on TV with statistics, data points. We need to do things like those small cards that the kids used to exchange and play games with. So I think a lot of things have to be done. It's not only about TV. It's the entire packaging of the entire sport. And it has to go beyond the Guru Shishya Parampara into the entire media zone, which is, media has to overhype them. We need to make them aspiring stars that we can look at and look up to. And that's the economics that will then spell out. They have to have cool cars that they drive in and hot girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever it is, and make the sport very engaging and experiential.
Right. Now that's a completely different take from so many questions we've asked on yoga and people that we've met in this program so far. But it's extremely exciting because I'm sure that a lot of people are going to watch this and ask plenty more questions. One of them that comes to my mind is, how is it going to be able to judge, your referees, your judges? What is the system that you would put in place? Because it's very difficult, isn't it? There's so many different traditions of yoga. So you spoke about a curriculum and, getting these guys to adhere to one set of rules. How do you do the judging in this case?
So I go back to the sport of boxing. And a long time, people used to judge boxers in the ring with some kind of subjectivity. Because once person lands his punch, you don't know if the punch has actually gone to the face or the arm or the chest or whatever it is. So a single judge was a very bad idea from a single perspective. Then boxing evolved from giving single judge to multiple judges, then having judges on the four sides, each judge, scoring from their perspective. And then we match the scores, we take their weighted average and spit it out right then onto the broadcast feed. So there is no delay or any kind of discussion on the scoring. And also what we've done is we've started working on the kinetic system of sports science and sports mechanics. So we are allowing the computer to actually take care of the technical part of the scoring. And the judges will always look at the softer aspects of the facial expression or the music choice or the coming into or going out of the asana. So it is a lot of technology that we are putting into it. We are also introducing a point system, and the point system is not only for the athlete, which will lead to the ranking system, but the point system will also be applying to the judges and referees. So as they have performed, they will, on a merit based, get progression into national, state, international competitions. So we have to do away with all the subjectivity and go into totally precise calculations on the outcome of these competitions, these talent shows, and really do justice to the talent that is there.
Right. Okay, so that's a tall order because you've got a lot of things that you need to accomplish before this can happen. We totally realize just how much work can be involved. So my question now takes us back in time. When did this all start for you? How did you get involved, and where did it all begin?
It's a very interesting question that you posed, and I have been in sport for the last 14 years. The journey started in Gujarat when our honorable Prime Minister was the Chief Minister, and I did a presentation to him about developing sport infrastructure, competitions, and thereof. And we went into building stadiums, operating them, developing the Khel Mahakumbh in Gujarat, and then going into assisting into Khelo India. And then I put in the Fit India movement as well, and that's my brainchild as well. So in the process, one of the things that I had triggered in his mind was that we need to make yoga into an Olympic sport. And I think somewhere it sank. And then the Ministry of Ayush took it up, and then they reached out to me that was it. Why don't you participate in the field of yoga? I mean, most of the people here are from the yogic culture and the background. They don't understand yogasana, but they don't understand maybe sport. And therefore, if we can collaborate together and see if this can become into a potential money churning ecosystem, then it will be great for the athletes in India and also the referees, the judges, and it could have a kind of a yogasana economy around it. Merchandise can be done, ticketing can be done on shows. Even the merchandise can be sustainable and not use rubber, but you can use things like jute. You can use different fibers in the fabrics that we are using, which are more sustainable. So I think yogasana will lead the way for a environmentally friendly sporting ecosystem, and that's where we are heading, and that's where we started. I think you were there when, in fact, we met in Coimbatore at
Yes.
Sadhguru's, farm, and we had discussed it at length over there. And
Yes.
some people were in favor of yoga as a sport, and some people were not at the time. And I think that it doesn't matter who's in favor or not. The important thing is that India should be the stakeholder which is driving the agenda, because I don't want a situation, or we don't want a situation where tomorrow another international country packages it as a sport and comes back to India and sells it back to us. We need to package it and sell it to the world. So
True.
that's the way that I saw this journey, and I got into it. And now I've just been here for about 6 months in the federation, in the national federation, and about 18 months in the international federation. And I understand totally it's a tall order, but we are here for the challenges, and it's going to be fun.
Very much so. Very much so. I was wondering, like, what happened right now? How has the Ministry of Ayush? You just spoke about them, and I believe the Ministry of Sports of India and the Ministry of, Youth Affairs and Sports also involved. What help has been given so far, and where is the situation currently in terms of yogasana as a sport?
So, good question. December 17th, 2020 was a marquee day for the sport. It was the first time in the history of India where two ministers from different ministries, Shripad Naikji and Kiran Rijijuji, Minister of Ayush and Minister of Sport, actually did a press conference handing the baton from Ayush to sport. That Yogasana will now become a custodian of the sports ministry, because sport has to drive the agenda of Yogasana. However, Ayush and sport are collaborating. Uh, Today, the Minister of Ayush and the Minister of Sport is the same, Sri Kiran Rijiju, and he is promoting it the best that he can. I think they are all behind us. They've already sanctioned a budget for Yogasana as a federation. They've included it into the Khelo India Games, the school games, and the university games. They will. We have now started speaking to IOA, the Indian Olympic Committee, to take it up into the national games and other competitions as well. So I think the journey has started. The federation will have to concentrate only on the key subject of the athlete. That is, whatever we want to do should be in and around the athlete and for their benefit. And once we have that mindset, then this sport is going to touch the sky. I think the kind of things that I've seen on television and also on YouTube and other channels, I think it can be as popular as cricket, because you don't need anything. You don't need money to, participate over here. You need yourself and your self belief, and that is what the ministry wants to ignite in each and every child in the country. And also the soft power of India has to be packaged and sent to the world through sport. I think if you look at Japan, they've or China or Korea, they've taken their martial arts into Olympics and they've earned medals. So we need to take a feather from their cap. Even today, if you look at things like skateboarding or breakdancing, that has become part of Olympics. So and even e-gaming. So I think that yogasana, if we emulate the others, build on that, refine ourselves, then we will do justice to what the ministry has done for us and actually take it to the next level.
Right. We'll be looking out for that because I think for people who are the younger generation, guys who are right now in high school, for them, this can be an exciting opportunity because another advantage of yoga is that we have seen the facilities aren't that difficult to organize as compared to other sports. So I'm sure that, people who are practicing yoga right now could get oriented towards this as a sport, not just as a lifestyle, which of course doesn't exclude one from the other, does make a difference. Um, Udit Sheth, my last question to you, because I do think we've kept you a long time. You've been really nice to come on the show like this and take part in this program. Um, my last question to you is: what are the events that are coming up, and how do we see them? How does a person get access to them? That's first. And the second part of my question, like if I'm a young person, I'm in school and I hear this and I'm very excited about this. What kind of advice would you have for them to prepare themselves to be athletes of yogasana in the future?
I think I'll answer two or three questions at the same time. I think there is no right answer or wrong answer. But um, to start with, the world is on your palm. This is a digital economy globally, and so everyone can access anything today. And the the penetration has become so great, not only in India but globally, that people will not even watch TV anymore. They will only watch two screens, either their laptop or their iPad or their phone. And therefore, even all the advertising and the promotions are all online now. The digital economy is actually shaping or reshaping the entire globe. We don't read magazines anymore. We don't look at billboards anymore. The kids are only looking at their phones. And therefore, to start with, we are going to be available on every phone on a click of a button through our website, our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram. People can participate in competitions. They can participate in putting their own self into the media. That is one part of it. The second is to actually plan the calendar of events. I think there are statutory events that we need to do as a federation, which is about your district championship, your state championship, your nationals, your Khelo India, your university games, national games, uh, and then in the future, even South Asian games or Commonwealth games, and so on and so forth, so that we can build a roadmap to the Olympics over the next 10 years. So that will happen annually. And our events have to be scalable and sustainable. They should have point system, ranking system, so that everyone can very objectively measure themselves on where they are opposed to somebody else. And the last part of all of this is the question on my advice to a young talent. I think talent is there, and it's about how we engage them. It's about how we work with them and give them the opportunity. From my side, the talent has to only focus on being excellent, doing the right things, eating the right things. Um, Today, for any sport, the major issue in India is nutrition or the lack of information about nutrition. And therefore, 70% of an athlete is made in the kitchen and not in the gym. And therefore, nutrition is one very important aspect of yogasana or any other sport. The kind of coaching that we can deliver as a federation is also very important, because without the right coaches, no one can do what they want to do. Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan because he had the coach at North Carolina, and then Phil Jackson in Chicago, and so on and so forth. So we need to have athletes with great coaches. So a short answer to all of this is that let the kids do what they need to do, but we need to guide them in the right way and then provide the opportunities to actually elevate them into a media personality. I think as administrators, we have no role to play to come in the front. We need to do all the work in the back and put these great talents on the platform so that they can have their chosen space in the world of sport. So that's the way I look at it. And really, thank you so much for inviting me on this channel with you. And I wish you and the entire Heartfulness program the very best. Thank you so much.
Very much so. Thank you so much. I am happy to have had you here because this is such a fresh take and such a new vista that we are opening. Big horizons there, people. I just hope everyone's been watching, and if you can share this, because this is something that really needs to be taken a look at. And let me tell you, Udit Sheth comes from like we introduced him in the beginning, he comes from a background of sport, but his personal interest in sport is also very exciting. I mean, we've seen him with scuba diving and football. I mean, I'm not going to say more. I think maybe in a future interview, we'll be discussing a little bit about other sports and how things fit in. But let's keep something for later. But thank you so much. And we do hope that the International Yoga Sports Federation, that you are the vice president of, will soon be making waves, not just in India, but everywhere else. And we wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Namaste and good wishes. Bye.